I think this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but I'm in the mood for ruffling feathers. I think some white girls cannot fathom that a girl who's not white can be considered prettier than them.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, guys, I feel like this is a very interesting topic to talk about, right? So we are going to be reacting to a video of a black woman who stated the fact that palm-colored women cannot fathom that there can be non-white women, black women, who are more prettier than them.
Yeah, personally, I think this situation stems from, you know, we always have to relate things with history. And their biggest history was during slavery. You remember when, you know, their husbands would do something unmentionable and they would get jealous because of that reason.
Because according to them, they considered black women as not pretty. During that time, they didn't consider the features of a black woman to be the pretty, like beauty standards.
Yeah, yet they even made their dresses to become puffy just so they could appear to have big histories, you know, sitting histories. Just so they could appear to have big histories than black women. But anyway, let's just watch this video first and then we come back and talk about this episode. And if you've not subscribed, please kindly remember to subscribe and also leave us a comment on what you think about this video.
I think some white girls cannot fathom that a girl who's not white can be considered prettier than them.
Oh, no, they know. They know you're prettier than them. They know you're very, very pretty. And they know that all things considered, if you could measure these things by rubric, that you would be prettier than them. But the benefit of white supremacy, of adhering to white supremacy, and you've probably noticed this, you know, if you're the kind of person who pays attention to these kinds of patterns, is that you don't have to live like anything is true that you don't acknowledge. It doesn't matter that you know it. It doesn't matter that you see it. It doesn't matter that you heard it. It doesn't matter that you feel it. As long as you don't acknowledge it, as long as you don't admit to it, you can always live like it's not true and find people who will do the same.
I think some white girls cannot fathom that a girl who's not white can be considered prettier than them.
I have a meeting in like 15 minutes, so I'm gonna make this quick. But basically yesterday I went to Safeway to get my mom some flowers for Mother's Day. And they had like this little station where this lady was like, you know, wrapping up the flower bouquets, making them like cute and stuff. And my dad was throwing a barbecue, so I was like picking up corn, so I was like in the produce section, and then I went to the flowers. And the whole time there was like this white lady who had to have been like in her 30s maybe, I don't know what she was, but she kept staring at me like up and down, like giving me dirty looks, like it was so obvious to the point where I was uncomfortable. And I kind of just brushed it off. I'm like, okay, like maybe I just look good. I don't know, I know I look good. This is literally what I was wearing, right? Like just some yoga pants, jacket, whatever the fuck. So then I'm in line waiting for my bouquet to be made. I had like 3 bunches of like lilies, and I'm just like standing in line minding my business on my phone. And she's in front of me and her boyfriend's there. And her boyfriend's like this like skinny like Latino guy, right? And they're both just sitting there, and mind you, like, no offense to them, but they're not like, they weren't like an attractive couple. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to be mean at all, but basically the entire time in the line, this bitch keeps looking at me like back and forth. Like, I'm just literally on my phone, I'll catch her like looking at me, and like, you know when you can tell someone's looking at you like through your like rear view blind side, whatever the fuck. So I'm looking at my phone, and she's staring at me for like 15 seconds. I'm just on my phone, and then I finally look up, and then she looks at me, rolls her eyes, and looks away. And I was like, bitch, what the fuck is your problem? And then like multiple times, like even when I was getting corn, even when I was getting like my flowers, she would like be near me, and then she would start aggressively making out with her boyfriend while like looking at me. Like, she would look at me, then like grab her boyfriend, like bring him in and like start making out with him. And it wasn't like a cute little kiss. Like, I'm not a big PDA person, either is my boyfriend, so we don't really make out in public unless we're like fucking blacked out. But like, it was like tongue, I heard everything. And I was like, there's hella people at Safeway, it's Mother's Day, people are getting last minute flowers. Like, people were even looking, they were like, what the fuck is wrong with her? But yeah, I just thought that was so fucking weird. And it's like, her boyfriend, like, I didn't even see him looking at me. Like, he didn't try to talk to me. Like, I don't even think he noticed that I was there. So it was like she was just projecting her insecurity for no reason. Because there was like if he had tried to talk to me or something, then like I would like kind of understand, like, okay, maybe she's like insecure, whatever the fuck. But mind you, I'm in that bitch, like no makeup, my hair was like in a fucking bun, I was looking like this, and she was just like, I don't know, she just gave off like the weirdest energy. And it's like, your boyfriend couldn't even get my name, let alone my number, out of me. Like, you're so safe, you're safe. But yeah, this video reminded me of that, because I don't know, she was ugly, let's just be honest. Like, she wasn't cute, he wasn't cute. So I was like, what part of you thought that anything would happen? Like, I'm happy for you, girl. Like, I got a boyfriend too. Like, it was just weird. But yeah, I could make like 100 videos stitching the original creator. But yeah, this just literally happened yesterday. Yeah.
Some white girls cannot fathom that a girl who's not white can be considered pretty.
For me personally, obviously, I'm white. You can see by my sunburn. I think a lot of white women I think we all kind of look the same. And so if I'm out and about and like I'm shopping or whatever, and I see a woman who's very beautiful and like her features are really striking, and like my head's turning and I'm looking like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous, it's usually someone who's not white, because to me, I think just like a lot of white women look the same. Like, I don't know if that's, I don't know.
I think some white girls cannot fathom that a girl who's not white can be considered prettier than them.
Wait, because I have a story about this. So boom, it's my freshman year of college, and it was in the spring semester, and if I don't know when that is, that's from January to May. So the entire freshman year, I had seen this boy like looking at me. I'd heard about him. He's on the basketball team, this black dude that's crucial to this story, or whatever I'd heard about him. But it wasn't, we had mutual friends, but it wasn't until spring semester where I really caught him looking at me, where I heard more about him. I was like, oh no, you know what, he's like kind of cute, let's try talking to him, see where that goes. We had a mutual friend who I was really, really close with, so I was like, oh girl, before I start talking to him or trying to talk to him, could you see if he's talking to anybody? Because if he's talking to somebody, I'm not gonna try and start talking to him because he's talking to somebody. So boom, so she texts him and he's not talking to anybody, and she gives me his snap, when to find out I already had him on Snap. So I started texting him. I texted him first because I'm not afraid, closed mouths don't get fed. Texted back and forth for a little bit, and eventually he was like, oh, do you want to hang out or whatever, and I was like, sure. And I was excited because like he's cute, the vibes are going, we can see where this goes. We end up hanging out and we're watching a regular show in my room, we're cuddling, we're laughing, it's going really, really well, and I'm really excited and happy because it's going well. So I asked him, because I'm not scared, I'm not shy, I end up asking him at the end of the thing, like, so like, since you're not talking to anybody, like, are you just trying to have fun, or are you just trying to, like, what are you trying to do? I wasn't trying to push nothing on him, but like, I want to know what's happening before we go like any farther, because I don't like being played, I don't like games, we're grown, like, let's be honest. He tells me he likes me, he actually wants to continue with this too, he really liked hanging out with me, so I'm like, okay, cool. A day or two later, I find out that I'm blocked on Instagram and Snapchat, not his number, but I'm blocked, and I'm like, what the fuck? Little backstory. So I mentioned this dude was black, right? Now, around campus, not all the time, but I had seen him like walking around with this white girl or whatever, and that's like whatever. I was assuming they were either friends, like before we hung out. I was assuming they were either friends or they hooked up maybe once or twice or whatever. Like, I didn't pay it no mind, but like I noticed that. I also want to point out that this girl was the girl he would hang out with was known around campus, one for her lack of looks, but also just being kind of bitchy. Like, no one liked her around campus. She had like 3 friends max. Anyway, so I ended up texting him and I'm like, yo, what's up, like whatever, and so he ended up being honest with me, and he told me that girl who, like, I saw him walking around, that they had started talking before him and I started talking, and it ended up like not working out or something like that. But basically he was gonna try talking with her, and like basically they were gonna like see where they go or whatever. I'm kind of like annoyed because, one, like, if you didn't want to do anything, like, I was mad because he could have just been honest. Like, it's not that hard, we're grown. I'm thinking people can be honest. Apparently it's hard for some people, so I was just annoyed. I'm like, okay, whatever, do what you want to do, like, do you, whatever. Even though I was upset, my feelings were kind of hurt, not because he picked someone else over me, because listen, it happens, you win some, you lose some, but I was more upset about who he picked, because this girl was not only not liked, she was not cute at any means. I know some people are gonna be like, Kennedy, you're just being mad, you're being bitter. No, a girl, I could not like a girl and she can still be fine as fuck. When a girl's a bad bitch, a girl's a bad bitch. It's that simple. She just wasn't, so that had me in my feels like, okay, damn. But fast forward, they're constantly hanging out, whatever. My friends and his friends are like, what the fuck? Because they're confused, because one, they all admitted we had really good chemistry, but also, like I said, this girl was not liked by anybody. So when I tell you his friends were clowning him for hanging out with her and trying to make things work with her, it was serious. Long story story short, I never really got any closure or whatnot. So at the very end of school, like it's the end of May, I'm like, listen, this is how I feel. This is how upset you made me. You do with it what you want, but I didn't appreciate the way things ended or whatever. He ends up apologizing, like we had a long talk or whatever. And I'm like, okay, we can at least be friends with this, that, and the other. As we become friends and after school ends and he's away from all the dramas, he had a lot of drama and shit going on, whatever. I actually get to know him on a more personal level. He ends up admitting a lot of things to me, this, that, and the other. Like one of them being, I didn't like this about him, but he didn't have his own original thought. Basically, he ended up asking one of his friends after he hung out with me, like, oh, I really like the both of them or whatever, but which one should I choose? And for whatever reason, his friend told him to hang out with the other girl, so that's what he did. I literally clowned him. I'm like, so you just didn't have an original thought and couldn't think for yourself, but whatever, we talked about that. And we made some genuine progress in terms of friendship, and eventually he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said no. I didn't like the way he handled things. I still didn't fully trust him yet. He ended up asking me 2 more times, and after I saw genuine progress, I ended up saying yes, and we started dating later on. His friends were happy for him, my friends were happy for us, and again, it wasn't until I saw genuine progress in his behavior, how he was acting, this and the other, before I said yes to being his girlfriend.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this issue on the comment section. But guys, my personal opinion is that I feel like a lot of palm-colored women are very insecure when they're around beautiful black women.
Yeah, and this is because for the longest time, black women were made to feel like they were so undesirable. And I feel like they don't know how to deal with a situation where they find themselves being faced with a very, very beautiful black woman
who happens to be black.
Or a woman of color.
Right. Another thing I want to say is that palm-colored women, they will always talk about this. They were so centered into believing that
they were the main character.
Exactly. So when you talk about white supremacy, as much as it benefited the men, look at how it benefited the women, right? Women, palm-colored women felt like they were above all other races because, right, they were not on the receiving end. Like when you look at black people, what they had to go through, and people of color, what they had to go through, black palm-colored women
were considered to be above black men, black women, colored men, colored women,
you know how they were moving around, you know, having their own servants, you know, and they felt like they could still hold their heads up in the air because as much as their husbands would go and have affairs with, let's not call them affairs because it's what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't
forcing themselves on the black women, right? At the end of the day, she could still get to exert her power on this very woman because at the end of the day, she was the, could we say, missus of the home. So guys, let's talk about the first speaker, the lady who was talking about, she went into a cafeteria and she was trying to get something, right? And there she found a palm-colored woman who had a Latino boyfriend, right? And according to her, she said normally it's not even the kind of men she would go for, but for some reason this woman felt
colored woman felt very threatened.
She felt very threatened to the point where she had to feel like she had to misbehave in public. You know, that's just making a fool of yourself, and her insecurities were speaking louder than, you know.
And you know, I've often heard that black people say that palm-colored people all look the same.
Guys, let us know.
Because I've even seen videos trending on TikTok where they show a couple celebrities. One is called Timothy. I don't know what's his second name. And then there's another lady they're comparing him to. And they really look like twins.
Even they've compared Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus, and they show how similar their features are. So it's say the palm-colored people all look the same. Personally, I'd say that Chinese, especially, I don't mean to be racist, but Chinese all look the same. Like you literally cannot tell who. And I hear, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. For those ones who follow football so closely, I had a rumor that Chinese
Asian people, especially Chinese, Japanese, and Koreans,
were banned from participating in the World Cup
because all of them look alike,
the same, and they used to switch when they
not used to switch, but they confused judges. So to prevent them from cheating, they just banned them all together from
right. And then when you look at the black people and you look at the variety of color people have. Let's just start that. There's
Not
never
just
a
my
dull
black,
pigment,
yeah, it's variety of black, you know. Brown, not black, variety of brown, not just there's the lighter shade of brown.
features. There are those of us who have big lips. There are those of us who, you know, you can just never find like matters that those ones you'd say we look alike. Even here in Africa, people normally say they can tell East Africans from West Africans from South Africans,
and even palm colored people have gone as far as saying Africans all look the same, like they look like twins.
But if you look at a South African and you look at a East African, you know, yeah, a Zulu and a Bantu, they look different. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about this episode. We'd really like to know what you think about it,
and also consider subscribing if you've not, and we'll see you on our next episode.